Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So a few weeks ago, I filmed a video where I reacted to posts from the Reddit group Am I the A-hole? That had to do with books or reading. This is going to be a sequel of sorts to that video because today I am going to be reacting to Am I the A-hole posts that have to do with writing. For those of you who don't know what I Am the A-hole is, it is a subreddit where people can post situations they were involved in, basically to ask the court of public opinion, was I the a-hole in the situation or not? There are several verdicts that you can give for the situations, which include you are the a-hole, saying, yes, poster, you were in the wrong in this situation. Not the a-hole, which is basically saying, no, the poster was not in the wrong, but the other person involved in the situation was wrong. You can say, no a-holes here. I feel like everybody's feelings were understandable. And you can say, everyone sucks here. Basically, everybody in this situation made bad decisions, and all of them have to shoulder some of the blame. I will link my previous Am I the A-hole reaction video in the card if you want to go watch that one. But with that being said, let's just dive into these posts. Like I said, all of them are writing related, and I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know what verdict you would give on each of these stories. Do you agree with me or disagree? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let's just dive in to post number 1. All right, first post. Am I the a-hole for saying that people are allowed opinions and you need thick skin to be a writer? Context. I, 32 female, write in my spare time and self-publish. I don't write literary masterpieces. That's the dream. I dabble in fantasy and erotica, and I've amassed a small following and it pays some bills. Some may call it mommy. I'm cool with that. I'm not a literature snob. People should be able to like what they like without folks getting bougie over it. I'm part of an author group where we meet up on Zoom and in person for those who are local to each other. We talk books, writing, getting through blocks, etc. It's fun and great for tips. Situation. A new author, Jane, 28 female, recently joined and we had an in-person meetup and Zoomed with other authors from across the globe. The topic switched to comments/reviews left by readers on our books. Jane said she didn't understand why folks left negative, sometimes mean reviews, and that it's really shitty and should be stopped. I agreed, but I also said people are entitled to have an opinion on art. That's the beauty of it, right? You can think a painting is hideous. I can think it's great. Neither of us are wrong. Win-win. And I feel it's the same for books, music, etc. It's okay to have a visceral reaction to art, in my opinion. It's serving its purpose and provoking you either way. But she was relentless in that people should be kinder and not leave comments like, this book was awful, such a waste of money, etc. She wouldn't drop it. So I said, look, have I had some comments saying my book is shitty? Yes. Does it hurt? Yes. But I'm the one putting my work out there, and if folks pay for it, they're entitled to judge it and share that opinion. I can't police their opinions, even the harsh ones. She got mad, flipped the script, and said I was basically condoning hate speech. This is where I might be the a-hole. I burst out laughing and said, if you think someone online calling your writing shitty is hate speech, then we come from very different worlds, and I'd love to have your problems. Of course, I wish people were kinder, but we set ourselves up to be judged when we share our work. Your book won't be everyone's cuppa, so you need to have a thick skin, especially to self-pub. Her reply was, you're probably one of those a-holes that leaves shitty reviews and says things like, everyone can write, but not everyone should. How dare you tell me to accept abuse? To be honest, I was too busy trying not to piss my pants laughing to respond. The group mostly thought readers should be able to share their opinions, but we moved topic quickly. A week on, Jane's still mad. I've had messages from author friends telling me to apologize to keep the peace, but I'm not sure what I'm sorry for. If anything, she called me an a-hole and raised her voice over what I thought was a perfectly valid opinion, which she is free to disagree with. See? The beauty of differing opinions. I guess I could say sorry if I was the a-hole for laughing. Okay, I do not think this person is the a-hole, and I honestly don't know what Jane expected. Kind of seems to me like she has a massive ego, because let's be honest, if you are creating a book, any form of art, and putting it out into the world, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Everybody has different opinions and different preferences. There are some books that I love that you might hate. I wrote a book, and if it gets published, there are going to be people who hate it. But there are also going to be people who love it, and that's okay. It hurts to receive negative feedback. I won't lie. When someone leaves me a negative comment on my writing or even just on my YouTube videos, it bothers me. But people are allowed to have their opinions, and I think you just need to remember that, yeah, some people aren't going to like what you do, but other people are really going to like it. It's okay. I do understand Jane's position, because I do think sometimes when people are leaving negative reviews or like negative comments, they really do go overboard, and I think sometimes take it to a level that's not okay. But if you're saying no one should leave a negative review on a book, that's just like, I don't understand that thought process. Like, it seems to me like Jane thinks she is above criticism, which, newsflash, she is not. There is no one in this world, not me, not you, who is perfect at writing. And if you think that no one should be able to give you negative feedback, like, I think that just shows that you are not willing to learn and grow, and that you have a massive ego. I understand that some negative reviews can feel like bullying, but personally, when I leave a negative review, I always try to be specific and say what I didn't like about it. I also agree with the original poster that if Jane thinks receiving negative reviews are the same as hate speech, girl, no. Like, that's not even comparable to the BS that other people have to go through. And if you think that is hate speech, she comes across as so entitled and out of touch. So no, I do not think that the poster is the a-hole. And personally, I would not apologize to her, because you didn't do anything wrong. So do not apologize, in my opinion. If she wants to leave the group, she can leave. But I don't think you should apologize, because that's just reinforcing this entitled attitude of hers. No. Next, am I the a-hole for anonymously criticizing a classmate's attempts to write a fantasy novel? My classmate, we aren't friends, is attempting to write a fantasy novel. Me, having read a lot of fantasy novels, decided to read it. Since he posts on a website, I decided to anonymously comment on his book, only to find it filled with grammatical errors and not so good plotline. He adds meaningless things in the story to give it a more, quote, fantasy feel. His first language isn't English, neither is mine, but since we aren't close, I gave him a simple advice as to look at how to write a story online. He completely ignored it and continued to write more bad content. Unfortunately, he is striving to be an author and refuses to change his writing. So the second time he wrote, I was a bit harsh on the criticism. I feel like an a-hole because the majority of his readers don't seem to care, and he thinks the way he writes is okay. P.S. He is writing it per chapter and posting it. Okay, I do think you are the a-hole in this situation, because it's not your responsibility to make him a better writer, and I do think it is good to give constructive criticism. However, you left the first comment, and clearly he did not want your feedback. He was not going to implement your feedback. So, had you just stopped there, I don't think that you would have been the a-hole. I'm talking in second person like the poster is going to read this. This is a 4-year-old post. Anyways, I don't think that the poster would have been the a-hole had they just been like, okay, he doesn't want my feedback, cool. But when you go and post a second comment that you describe as a bit harsh, that to me is where you become the a-hole. Like, honestly, it's not your problem, okay? You said you don't know this person that well. It's not your job to make them a better writer. And if, like you say, he's trying to become a professional writer, but his writing is not good and it's filled with errors, he's eventually going to learn the hard way that he can't write like this and become a successful published author. But that's not your lesson to teach him. He doesn't want your feedback. He doesn't value your feedback. So at that point, you should have just walked away. But no, you were so wedded to the idea of being right that you couldn't let it go. And that's what makes you the a-hole. I mean, to be completely honest, I do think there are a lot of people out there trying to pursue writing who do not have what it takes. Their writing is not good. They are not taking constructive criticism and working to build their craft. And there are people out there where I've seen the extracts of their novels and I think to myself, like, this is not good enough. You can't get published with this. But it's not my responsibility to tell them that. And if they firmly believe their writing is above reproach and there's nothing more they can do, okay, well, then that's fine. And they'll just see for themselves how it goes, you know? And I don't think, you should offer people criticism they didn't ask for because, how they write, that's up to them. And their successes or failures are on them. You don't need to offer an opinion if they didn't ask for one, Next, am I the a-hole for calling my friend out on plagiarizing my fanfic? This has been crazy, and I genuinely can't tell if what I did was justified or petty. I'm a writer, and I mainly write fanfiction of my shows. Recently, my biggest and most popular one is my Pride and Joy. I've worked on it for over a year and have spent so much time in it. Recently, my friend started writing and asked for advice. I gave her some and even recommended some of my fics to check out. Some time passed, she had her own original story fully written. I found it odd she completed it so fast, but then realized something was off when I read it. The first chapter was 100% original and fairly good, but the second and third chapter was nearly identical to my fanfiction. Like, everything but the character's name was the same. It couldn't be I think she meant to say coincidence. She, he, they, I don't know. The poster meant a coincidence. The third, fourth, and fifth chapter was the same too, same events, character interactions, descriptions, etc. Just different character names and occasionally something cut out. I quickly flipped through the rest of it, and out of the 50-chapter book, 11 chapters were her original and the rest were a ripoff of my fanfic. I was crushed. I worked too hard on it, and she deadass just copied it. The use of deadass, I'm sorry, is funny to me. Later, I publicly shamed her online, calling her a lot of mean things. She saw it, freaked out, then demanded I delete it. I did. Now she won't shut up to her friend group about how I escalated things, made her look bad, and can't handle the fact she took inspiration from someone else. I feel really bad, so Reddit, am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole. She is the a-hole for stealing your story. Because let's be honest, that's what she did. Obviously, there is no such thing as a wholly 100% original idea under the sun. So if it was just like, oh, she published a book that's very similar to mine in terms of what it's about, I wouldn't say that's necessarily plagiarism. But if she is literally copying character interactions, descriptions, quote, everything but the character's name, that is plagiarism. And this is just her copying you. She did not write this book, she stole it from you. So I totally understand you confronting her about that because what she did is wrong. I do think you making a post, quote, calling her a lot of mean things is not a productive way to deal with this situation. So you are slightly an a-hole for that. I do understand why you did it because, like, we're all human and it feels bad to have someone steal your idea, steal your hard work. So I do understand why you did that. I just think it would have been more productive to talk with her about it one-on-one, And then if she didn't realize why what she did was wrong or apologize for it, then I think it would have been totally okay to post online saying, hey everyone, just so you know, so-and-so stole this idea from my fanfic. Here are the receipts. Just thought you should know that this story plagiarizes my copyrighted material. No name calling, just facts. I think that would have been a better way to handle it. I think you saying, quote, mean things, it does make you stoop to her level a little bit, and I don't think that was the mature way to handle the situation. Really, no one in this story sounds like they are mature. They sound like this is some petty high school drama a little bit going on. I wonder how old the poster is. But I still feel like a majority of the blame has to rest on your friend who stole your intellectual property. All right, I'm going to read one final post for this video. Am I the a-hole for being too harsh with my friend's novel feedback? I, 34 male, was asked by a friend of mine, 29 female, that I met in graduate school, that I've known for a number of years now, and we have a strong chemistry and rapport where I feel like we can be very honest with each other. We've had an on-again, off-again romantic relationship, oh great, over the years as well. We know each other very well. She looks up to me in many ways. Does she, or do you just have an ego the size of Texas? Anyways. She's an aspiring novelist and writer, and she often asks me for feedback, and she has made it clear to me that she really likes how straightforward and clear my feedback is. She was finishing up a first draft of a short novel that she was writing as a tribute for her uncle who had recently passed away from esophageal cancer. When she mentioned she was writing something about him, I was skeptical because he wasn't a particularly unique individual that I thought would make for an interesting subject of a novel. She had asked me to give it a read, and she wanted, quote, brutal honesty from me so she could really make good adjustments for another pass at the novel. When I read it, I honestly thought it was irreparably horrible. The writing is subpar and lacks the polish and attention to detail that one would expect from a published work. The characters are poorly developed and lack any real depth or nuance, making it difficult for readers to connect with them or become invested in their stories. The plot is unoriginal and lacks any real sense of tension or excitement, making the book a chore to get through. I couldn't believe how horrible it was. Combine all of that with her desire for, quote, brutally honest feedback, I felt like I was given the permission to give her no holds barred notes. So I might have gotten carried away, and in the process I mentioned her uncle and told her that the character based on him is just some basic man and that she gave us no reason to become invested in it. It is a heavy-handed story about cancer. I said nobody is going to care about it if we don't care about the character, and that it was a terrible way to pay respect to her uncle. Oh my God. You did not say that to her. Oh my God. My friend was furious with me and started to tear up. She said that nothing that I gave her was constructive, even though she specifically asked for brutal honesty. Yeah, but not like that, bro. And I truly felt like she needed to just redo it completely. There's nothing possibly constructive I could have said that wasn't just, it's terrible, you have to redo it. She said that I'm disrespecting her uncle and spitting on his memory, which I disagree with totally. She gave me full reign to be as brutal as possible, so now she's mad at me for doing the exact thing she asked for. Am I the a-hole? Oh my God, you are such an a-hole. Like, it was a terrible way to pay respect to her uncle. I cannot believe you said that to her. That's a horrible thing to say. Oh my God. I mean, when he said she looks up to me in many ways, that to me tells me that this guy has an ego and thinks very highly of himself, first of all. Secondly, there's a difference between being brutally honest and just taking it to a personal level, and that's what you did when you said that she did not honor her uncle, and like, you never should have said that. That is just a horrible thing to say, and I would not blame this woman if she never speaks to him ever again. Because clearly it just has no sympathy. I can't believe he would say that to, that blows my mind, honestly. And like, listen, if her book is actually not good and the writing is subpar, I think it's totally fair to tell her that. But you can't frame it the way that you did if you actually care about this woman and her feelings and the relationship you have. You have to acknowledge that this is something that's very personal to her because it's based on someone she knew and loved who actually died. So if you felt like the characters were flat and not connecting, you should have said to her, I know that your uncle was a very important person to you. However, the people who are going to read this novel did not know him like you did, and so I think you need to explain a little more in the next draft what it was about your uncle that made him so special to you so that the readers can connect with him also. That is a constructive way to give feedback. Saying that her dead uncle, whom she loved, was uninteresting and it was, quote, a terrible way to pay respects to her uncle. That is just mind-blowingly rude. I hope this woman never talks to him again. Because, wow, he sucks. He really sucks. And if her writing was, quote, subpar and, quote, lacks the polish and attention to detail that one would expect from a published work, you can point out specific instances to her where you feel like her writing needs to improve and maybe talk about things that she can do differently. And just be honest to her by saying, listen, I think you need extensive edits and revisions before you can publish this. But telling her, oh, there's absolutely no way you can salvage this. You just have to write the entire thing over. That is not constructive. That is just tearing her down. And I think there were so many better ways this person could have expressed their feedback that wasn't like as rude and personal. 'Cause wow. He really just showed this girl his true colors. He is so self-centered and so inconsiderate of her feelings. I'm angry on her behalf. And sis, please never talk to this man again. He is trash. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to let me know your verdicts for all these scenarios in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.